Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a video that people have been wondering about for a little bit in regards to how I've been unlocking cards. There's no secret recipe to this. You obviously still need to do well. You still need to win your games and whatnot. But I'm going to show you guys how I unlock the objectives super quickly, right? So for this one specifically, we're going to be talking about Jimenez and Perez because of the fact that you can unlock both of these cards at the same time, right? So I have a 3-monitor setup. You don't need a 3-monitor setup. You can do this on your phone, put it on your phone as a notepad or whatever it is. For each of these objectives, I put them in a notepad, right? So you can see that the way that I write them in is not perfect English. I just put them in there so I can have an idea of what I'm supposed to do in the game, right? So through ball with Mexican players in 2 separate matches, blah, 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 blah. All of these objectives could be done through rivals, okay? Because EA recently have been doing that more often with certain cards where they have told you, oh, you can do this objective in squad battles or you can do it in rivals. So the fact that they finally do that concept where I can do an objective in rivals is an amazing thing because it just allows me to unlock the cards quicker. I was able to get both of them at the same time. I was only 2 separate games off of Jimenez because of this one objective. You're going to take a look at it right here. It's this one right here where you have to score and assist with a Premier League player with a minimum 4-star weekfoot. Ayoze Perez also has that objective, but he has it for 4 games, right? So, there was a couple objectives here. I think it was this one right here, score a finesse shot on 7. That's why it was a difference of 2 games between the two. Once I finished Ayoze Perez, I was only 2 games off of Jimenez because of those certain objectives. But I want you guys to take a look at some of these objectives, okay? Made in Mexico, you need to do through balls with Mexican players. Score with La Liga forwards. Obviously, you need to score La Liga forwards. Finesse shots with Liga NOS. Score and assist with the Premier League. Okay. Score a finesse with Liga NOS players goes hand in hand with the scoring a finesse shot in 7 separate matches for Ayoze Perez. That's already 1 and 2 for 2 different cards, right? The Premier League one is a similar situation where you have to score an assist with a person with a minimum 4-star weak foot. Again, similar situation to Ayoze, but you don't need the 4-star weak foot. It just has to be a Premier League player. So that's already 2 in 1 again, okay? But the most important thing that you guys have to realize when doing these objectives is how you line up with your team, because you want to try to complete as many objectives as you possibly can. You have to set goals when you start off the game. So for me personally, I'm going to show you guys exactly what team I was using to complete the objectives. I already did the review for all 3 of the main cards. I'm going to try to get the Premier League team of the season in general, but we're going to see what's up with that. So you can see over here, I called it the League No, right? It's the name doesn't matter. What matters is the team that I was using, okay? This is exactly how I lined up with the game. I'm going to show you guys right now, okay? So Tarapto was playing in the right center mid position, Acuna was playing in the center mid position, and Raul was actually chilling on the bench with Gonzalo Guedes up top over here and Felipe Anderson there. And then obviously with the manager, you would have to get someone from the Liga NOS, that's Portuguese, which I already have. It actually got 100 chemistry. I don't remember exactly how to get 100 chemistry, but I know that it did at the time, right? So in regards to, it's because Felipe Anderson is not a left mid right now. I switched him to left wing to do the player review for a certain card and get him on chemistry. So on 100 chemistry with this team, there's a lot of different things you could already see. So one of the objectives is to score with a La Liga player, but he has to be a forward. Okay, I have Gonzalo Guedes as my La Liga forward. That's already scratched off. I play him in a position where I could potentially score any type of goal with him, right? And then do the objective that way. I have a couple of Liga NOS players in this team so that if I have to do a finesse shot with them, I'll score the finesse shot with them for both of the objectives. Felipe Anderson in the left mid position, I think he was on 5 chemistry initially when he was there. I lined him up in the striker position. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what my tactics were to start off this challenge. It was on pressure and heavy touch possession. Same thing that I usually use in the 4-2-3-1 video that I have, on my YouTube channel as well. I want to show you guys how I line up with a team in game, okay? So depending on the situation, the most important one that I had to get rid of first was the Premier League one first, okay? So I had to go ahead and score and assist with Felipe Anderson to obviously complete the objective. And from some of the assists that I did with Felipe Anderson, I did a finesse shot with a Liga NOS player, and obviously I was able to use Taarabt, Corona, Acuna, and Battaglia to do that. A lot of situations, because Felipe Anderson's off-the-ball movement in the middle area is really good, he was able to open up the space for a lot of other players to go for the finesse shot. So that's how I do the finesse shot with those players and get the assist at the exact same time. Then after the Premier League objective is done in the game, I go for a goal with the Liga Santander player. So I'll try to score an opportunity with Gonzalo Guedes to scratch off that objective as well, because I already completed most of the objectives so far. And then with Corona, right, as the Mexican objective, you use Corona to do the through ball objective, right? So if he's on the side or if he's in the middle, you do the through ball pass to any of the attacking players. And even just from the through ball pass, you can do the finesse shot as well with another Liga Santander player, depending on how you're attacking. So I basically just attack normally, but I have to remember exactly which objectives I have to complete all in one. So I basically, for the most part, complete all of these objectives in one game. Then, with Ayoze, because he has the finesse shots, right, in 7 separate matches, and the Premier League objective the same as Jimenez's card, the only thing I really had to focus after that, after I completed those 2 objectives from the first one, is the scoring with Spanish players part. So what I did with that is, once I got to a certain point where I completed the objectives for the Mexican player through balls, and I think it was a Liga Santander one because it was 3 separate games, so it wasn't as many games. Once I completed those 2 objectives, I would switch my team, right, which I'm going to show you guys right now. I would switch my team to add players that are going to help me out for the objective. So one of the objectives for the Ayoze Perez card was to score 3 goals in a separate match in 2 separate games. So what I would do is I would go ahead and put Raul in the team, and then I would rotate the rest of the teams to the stuff that I would need. I no longer was using this team at some point, because once you finish those 2 main objectives of the through balls with the Mexican players and the scoring parts with the La Liga players, what I would do is I would switch instantly to my Premier League team, right? And from my Premier League team, this is obviously the objective, but for my Premier League team, I can do all the objectives perfectly while also setting up Raul in this team. So obviously it's all switched up right now because I was doing the player reviews for certain cards. But in this situation over here, I would just switch to Raul because Raul is the Spanish player that I have. Now, obviously, you need these players in your club. You need to buy them, whatever it is. But the whole idea of completing these objectives is to make sure that you have all of the types of players in your club to be able to complete them, right? So you can see that I have Jimenez over here on the bench, all right, with Ayoze Perez on the right side. Those are both of the cards that I completed. But just look at the setup of this team. Premier League is the biggest objective that you had to do for this SBC, for this challenge. So because I realized that I had to do with the Premier League, I just used Raul as a normal striker, scoring normal opportunities in 2 separate matches, trying to score 3 goals as much as I possibly could. So I was lucky enough to do it in 2 out of 2 of the games. One of the games I came really close to the end where I scored in like the 85th, 86th minute. But like I said, the whole idea is to basically cross off the list and make sure that you can do things simultaneously, right? It's the most important thing when it comes to these objectives. Like I try to fit every single objective with the starting 11 squad that I have. That's the most important thing that you have to take into consideration when doing this objective. Now, this is the first time I've ever done this type of video, so be sure to let me know what else you guys would like to see, whether or not it's highlights or anything like that. But this is exactly how I unlocked the cards. I would recommend to you guys to relegate yourself. Now, obviously, with the way that FIFA is, relegating yourself is a crappy situation. But as you guys know, I think it was the first month of FIFA last year, I mentioned and I made that video mentioning to EA how the gameplay game modes make absolutely no sense and there's no balance between them, right? And what did they do? The next year they kept it the exact same too. So to benefit yourself from doing this objective, I would recommend you relegating yourself. Now, the thing that people have a huge misconception about is that relegating yourself makes it easier to do these objectives. In part, that is true, but you have to also remember that everybody else is relegating themselves. It is actually pretty rare for you to go into the 400 skill rating area and find someone that's actually a 400 skill rating player. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. I've done gameplay objective cards for a long time, and in regards to that general area for the skill rating, I would probably say out of like 20 matches, 22 matches, I actually found maybe 3 or 4 players that unfortunately for them had no hands when they played the game, right? So that's just the truth of it. Do I feel bad facing people like that and having to relegate myself to do these objectives? Yes, but I blame EA more because I told them, you guys were telling them, this just doesn't make any sense to complete these objectives like this, right? Like, why would you make it harder for yourself in the top tier divisions where people are not doing these objectives when you can relegate yourself and have a huge chance of facing someone that is doing the objectives? Because I'll tell you guys this right now, there are some people that still use their meta teams in the lower divisions, so those games will obviously be more difficult. You can just leave them if you want, right? But I play them because of the time constraint. I want to try to finish as much as possible. Some games, within the first 30 minutes, I don't even score 1 goal, so I'll just leave it because it's a waste of time to complete the objectives quickly, right? Because I obviously want to get the player review out for you guys, but it's just time management, right? It's all about time management in regards to completing these objectives. But again, guys, just try your best to make a team that just fits every single objective in it so you can complete as much as possible in one game after the other constantly, right? Again, because you can do all of these objectives in Rivals, it's best you do them in Rivals because you can actually get rage quits from people because they're also doing objectives too. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you guys want to see more of this in the future in regards to the tactics and the formation, the players that I use to complete the objectives, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.